What's good, family, and welcome to another episode of Jimmy Bond's podcast on Philadelphia Radio. This episode is sponsored by Major Flavor Catering. I'm your host, Jimmy Bonds, along with my co-host, Ty. T.Y., what's good, Ty? How you feeling?
All good in the neighborhood, Jimmy, live from the 215.
Live from the 215. You know how we do, bro. You know I can't forget my other co-host, I love you, Miss T with the T. She's not here with us today, but she's always here with us in spirit. Moving right along, family. Remember, you can call us with your comments or questions at 844-844-1244. Again, that's 844-844-1244. You can also email us at jimmybondspodcast@gmail.com. Again, it's jimmybondspodcast@gmail.com. It's JIMMYBONDS podcast@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Instagram at Jimmy Bonds Podcast, on Twitter at Podcast Bonds, and make sure you join the Jimmy Bonds Podcast Facebook group on Facebook. Let's continue to open the dialogue. Moving right along, family. Tonight, we have a special guest, family. We are doing a combined, we have different series on the show, so we're doing a combination. We're doing an artist spotlight series, as well as supporting small business series at the same time. So let's get into it with our guests. I want to introduce you to her first. Let me tell you a little bit about her. So tonight we have a guest. She is currently a makeup artist for the Lifestyle Today show on CBS. She's also featured as the featured hairstylist for Bella Magazine. She is CEO and founder of Glam Life Beauty Line, Glam Life Beauty Lashes, and Glam Life Beauty Accessory Collection. She has done New York Fashion Week, and she has done Miami Swimsuit Fashion Week. Not to mention, she's also worked on the Today Show, Chopped, the Food Network, QVC, and even worked with the U.S. women's hockey team, just to name a few. She is a mom. She's a go-getter. She's empowering. She's ambitious. She's determined. She's outgoing. She's inventive. She's multifaceted. She's an advocate. She's inspiring, and she's caring. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to the lovely and beautiful Miss Jenn Michelle. What's up, Jenn? How you feeling? Welcome to the show.
Thank you. What an entrance.
But that's love. We definitely like to give our people the due that they're supposed to have. You've done a lot. Your track record is extensive. Me and Ty were reading your bio like, wow, she's done a lot. She's done a whole lot. Well, let's kick it right off. I'm gonna ask you, just kick it right off with the questions. So
yeah,
you've been doing this for a while. Hairstylist, makeup artist. You perfected your craft. You continue to perfecting your craft. Tell me what today, not from when it was before, but what does Glam Life Beauty mean to you today?
Wow. So today, in this very moment, it means everything. It's my baby. It's something I envisioned, that I worked really hard for. I mean, blood, sweat, and tears, never threw in the towel, especially during times where, I've been betrayed, overlooked, so many things. But Glam Life is not just makeup and beauty. I always say makeup and beauty got me in the door, but passion comes behind living your best glam life. So that's what Glam Life is really a movement now. It turned into like a beauty thing, and now it just expanded into so much more.
Well, that's dope. That's dope. So being a makeup artist, I know it's everybody has their own kind of things they do. You know what I mean? So, even based on the trends that are in the makeup industry, do you think that you follow the trends, or do you think you create your own original style?
I mean, I try to go with what's like kind of in season, but with my own twist on it. I don't want to be like every single person, and each artist, we all have our own little things that we do or that we're stronger in than others.
Yeah.
So I kind of keep up with trends, but I make them my own for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the trends, they go back. I mean, some people,
yeah,
I've seen them. I've seen people bring trends from the 60s back. I've seen people, be futuristic with their makeup. So it's kind of like an in-between. I noticed. And listen, I'm not no makeup, connoisseur. I don't know anything about makeup in that sense. As me and Tyler say, look, we're dudes, what we know about makeup, right? But makeup, male or female, everybody uses it, particularly on TV, particularly within, photo shoots and things of that nature. Look, I'm gonna stop talking. Ty, I know you got a question. Go ahead, bro.
Miss Jenn, I used to work at QVC.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yes. So what was it like at QVC? Because I know when I was there, I used to cook for like the show host guests. and the guests that came in, I would go down to the green rooms and take them their food. But back at the cafeteria, like sometimes the makeup artists, they would come up there and they were like so busy, like their schedule was hectic and crazy. And was it like that for you at QVC?
So basically at QVC, I actually worked for one of the beauty advisors who now she has her own, she's the host of her own show. So I really worked with her. I was at her house at 3:00 in the morning, sometimes 2 before she would go to QVC. So I would do and prep her before she would actually go on set. So I haven't been in that building. I know it's in Jersey, right? Or Philly somewhere. Right. Yeah. But usually now being on set with her in Manhattan, we're usually filming about 3 episodes in one day. So we're constantly changing back and forth into different episodes. So it's a lot, but I wouldn't change it. I like it. I'm a creative person. So I love the whole behind the scenes. I like being busy. I'm pretty good under pressure. So I love it. Otherwise, I don't think I would be doing it.
Okay, that's good. Now, where did you grow up?
I grew up in Brooklyn.
In Brooklyn? New York.
Brooklyn,
Yeah.
New York, right?
I am
York,
a Brooklyn girl through and through.
That's
Yeah.
what's
I live
up.
in Jersey now, but I'm from Brooklyn.
Okay.
Oh, you
Now,
was
how
saying,
did,
my bad. Ty, go ahead. Go ahead. No, go
okay.
ahead, man.
Now, how did you start Glam Life? What got Glam Life started for you?
So, I mean, I've always liked hair and makeup. It was just, I'm the oldest of 4 girls. I'm the oldest granddaughter, oldest cousin, oldest sister. So I was kind of the in-home, experimenting with my sisters and my cousins, typical Brooklyn home. I grew up with my parents, and upstairs, my aunt and uncle and my cousins. So it was just constantly, experimenting with all the girls in the family. But when I moved out to Jersey, I started to freelance with makeup, and I was bartending also. So I started to just network, and I was realizing what networking kind of does. So one of the patrons that used to come in every Sunday from football was asking me, what's your goal? Oh my God, you probably hear my dog. I'm so sorry.
You're so good.
And he's like 2 rooms away. So one of the patrons at the bar, you get your locals that come, your regulars that come in, and like, what's your goal? Like, what do you want to do? And I'm like, I'm going to have my own business one day. I'm going to have an empire, So he came to me the next week and he's like, listen, there's a space for rent. Would you want it? Now I wasn't even thinking like that when I said it. And I said, you know what? I'm going to check it out. So I still don't even know Jersey that well, only by ways, but the area was called Maplewood. And when you hear about Maplewood, they say it's the new Brooklyn. And I'm like, this is going to work out. These are all signs that I need to be here. So I went and I seen the location. Even though it was small, I said, no, this is going to work. Because to me, it's small, but it's only the beginning. I didn't think I had to come out with like a million things all at once. I had a grand opening. We had sold out. You couldn't even walk in the doors. I stayed open later for my grand opening. We had like NFL players there. It was just, you couldn't have asked for a better grand opening. And then I found out my lease was fraudulent.
Oh, what?
Yeah. So if you can think of somebody walking, dragging their knuckles on the floor for the next week, that was me. Like, I was so upset. I felt like this guy totally, he kind of taught me a lesson. He taught me about paperwork.
Yeah.
He taught me that not everybody has the same heart as you, because
Yeah.
what you see is what you get. I don't have any ulterior motives. I would never try to do anything to somebody, but again, that's not my mindset. I don't know where he's coming from. And honestly, it was a blessing for me in the long run, because during my grand opening, there was a store that was vacant that somebody had seen and had brought to my attention. So they were like, listen, why don't you just check it out? So while this is going on, I'm like, let me just see. But I just invested all this money in this small spot. But I guess it happened for a reason, because now this other place is so much bigger. Long story short, I wound up getting that spot. It took me 3 months to renovate the whole thing yet again. Again, we had another grand opening on Cinco de Mayo, because I'm a Leo, so I like to party. So I'm like, let's make it a celebration, And again, we just started off big, and I didn't want my salon to be a regular salon. I wanted it to be diverse.
Yeah.
I wanted to be, because I'm from Brooklyn. So when I moved out to Jersey, I didn't really have a spot where I felt comfortable, because it was all just like the same type of woman. I'm used to New York. Like we have all different flavors. You know what I mean? So that's what I wanted, a spot where you can hear good music.
Yeah.
You know, I grew up on Biggie, you
Yeah,
know?
I was about to say, you better.
Yeah.
You
So
better.
all around the salon would be little quotes from like Biggie. And it's so funny because, you know, here I am with my blonde hair. I'm like, listen, like I am a girl from Brooklyn. Like I will never get rid of who I am. And
No
this is
doubt.
just the beginning of glam life. So it was a little different from all these other salons. You know, I didn't want anyone to feel like they didn't belong if they didn't have
Yeah.
enough money. It wasn't a place like that. It was for everybody. Like you can come bring your girlfriend and like just kick it and like have a good time, or just get every service. So it winds up being something bigger than I even thought of, but I think it was all God's plan, you know? So that's my long, short story of how Glam Life got started.
That's dope. That's dope. I mean, yeah, listen, that's dope. That is dope. I mean, everyone has a story of how they
Yeah.
start their business or how they start their passion. But yeah, I mean, you kind of learned the hard way, but actually the hard way was what you needed sometimes. You kind of need those lessons to move forward. I mean, that's what everybody needs to know. I mean, shoot, I think me and Ty have had hard times with just regular stuff like what we had to do what? Wait a minute. You want to do no, that you're fraud. Like, you know, get out of here with that. Like, so it's, you know, I completely understand. Like, you know, I'm sure it was a hit, but I'm sure you just like, hey, man, this was supposed to happen. So,
Yes.
you know, I think that's a dope experience to have. But some people don't have it like that, but you learn so many lessons within it. So let me ask you this question: what do you love about the industry itself, the beauty industry?
Okay, so because I do so many different facets of it.
Yes.
I'm gonna be honest with you, I really love when a girl that really doesn't get their makeup or hair done when they sit in my chair, because usually their reactions like, oh my God, I didn't know I could look like this. And like just to see them feeling themselves, you know, I just feel like, I don't know, that's my job, you know, like I'm a
Yeah.
woman, I like to feel good. I mean,
Yeah.
the nerve of me because I look crazy right now, but you know, as a woman, you like to feel good. How you look has a lot to do with how you feel, you know?
Definitely.
So if I know they feel good that day, then that's why I was there. Cause then they won't forget me, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like, I did a good thing for somebody, because confidence is everything, whether it be in business, just in the way you conduct yourself, your mindset has so much to do with, you know, how you move in your everyday life. So if
Yeah.
I can help confidence, I love that. I love
Yeah.
when somebody feels good.
I think that's dope. Now I've asked you, what do you love about it? What do you hate about it?
I don't like the competition, and I don't like how a lot of artists are known, or they get like a bad rap for like the
Yeah.
bad seeds. You know what I mean? Because so many times, like, oh, I didn't know you would talk to me. Why wouldn't I talk to you? Like, you know what I mean? You know, or a lot of times artists are underrated, meaning, you know, people will try to like kind of go down on a price on what we're doing, but we are the look of what is being captured. You know what I mean? So it's not just hair and makeup, because if it was just that, then they would do it themselves.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's like kind of, I had to explain to a bride once, you know, you want me to go down in my price, but how would you feel if you went to your regular 9 to 5? And on that day, your boss is like, listen, for today, I'm just not going to pay you what we agreed on. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
So I would say those are like my little peeves in it. It don't really bother me. I don't compete with nobody. I've never been like that, even as a teenager. I don't know. I never understood the mentality of a hater, because I know we can all win. Like, it's not where there's enough for me, for you, for whatever, you know, and what's for you is going to come to you and will stay with you. So why hate, you know? But that's about it.
That's real. That's where Ty sound familiar, don't it, Ty?
Yes, it does. Yes.
Don't it, Ty? Don't it sound familiar? You do a job and people be like, well, actually, I thought that maybe I could lower my. Yeah, I actually only have 200. I know your price is 450, but you'd be like, wait a minute, hold on. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
I thought this is what we decided. Like, didn't that what we said? Like, no. According to them, no, that's not what happened. But yeah, no, it's just, you know, in various industries, you find that that's particularly when you're an entrepreneur, you find that that's something you have to contend with often. That people want to, you know, gyp you, like you said, out of your what you're worth, you know, and eventually it has, you know, you start feeling like, well, look, I'm going to do what I know I'm going to get paid for, what I'm worth. And I think, like, you know, like you said, it's important to know your value as an entrepreneur and to be paid your value as an entrepreneur. You know, that's super real, super real. I'm gonna ask you this question. Tell me this: you ever been out in public and you see someone's face, or you see it could be a woman or a man, and you see someone's face and you're like, yo, I could really bring out those
Yes.
facial features.
I
Well, like,
guess.
does it happen all the
Yeah.
time? Because I mean, you're an artist, so in a sense, the face, the face and hair are your canvas. You know what I mean?
Yes.
That's what you see. So, when does that happen? Does that happen like often? That's something that you do all the time, or like right after you
No.
finish?
No, it doesn't happen often. But you have your once in a blue that you're like, oh, I would like to fix that. But you can't be rude. But you can't be rude. And I would never make somebody feel that way. But yeah, of course, I would be lying if I said I never thought that. Absolutely. Like, it's just being honest.
Yeah, listen, I thought about that. I was like, because I mean, me and Ty are just artists in general. We hear music, we're like, oh, I know how to do this. You know what I mean? Or I know what I would say on this. Yes, exactly. So you're just like, oh, yeah, let me do this. But I mean, it goes on. Now we're gonna take a quick break in a second. But before a quick break, I wanted to ask you this: like, being a mom, and you being how many children do you have? You mind me asking?
I have 3 girls.
You have 3 girls. Okay, so there we go. We got 3 girls. What do you feel is the proper age for young girls to be wearing makeup?
I don't want to say there's like a proper age, right? Because I mean, you talking about like to go out in public and like wear as makeup like that.
Yeah, where's makeup? I don't want to be controversial, but a lot of people.
I mean, I have 3 girls, right? So I'm their mom. I never want them to wear makeup. I never want them to color their hair. I never want them to pierce it. I have nose pierce, I have tattoos. My hair is blonde. I'm a brunette. I want them to do everything, so I get where my mom came from, I instill in my daughters that it's not just about looks, even though that's a lot of what I do, but I also do a lot of stuff with the inner, right? Yeah. But for me, I mean, when my daughter was about 14, 15, she would wear my oldest daughter is 17. Yeah. So when she was about 14, 15, she would start to experiment, but I'm going to let her experiment because I'm going to let her find herself. I don't like when you put like, oh, you're not doing that, or no, they're kids. It's like people that don't let their kids eat like any type of candy, or like they're going to wind up going binging in the closet. You have to let them be them and find out who they are. Yeah. If it's a little too much, I'm going to make them take it off in public. But like my little daughter, sometimes she's 8. She sometimes wants to wear lip gloss, and my husband will be like, I'm like, let her it's lip gloss. She's not hurting anybody. Like, let them learn who they are. So, I mean, a full face, my daughter now will wear since I guess when she was like 16, but times are different now. You have YouTube where these girls are just doing better makeup than I was at like 11 years old, but I don't see anything wrong with them letting them experiment. I mean, it's one thing to play around with makeup than like to dress a certain way. You know what I mean? Like experiment with your face all you want. Yeah. You'll regret it one day when you see your pictures. It's okay.
I feel you. Well, listen, thank you for this. We're so happy that you joined us tonight. This is definitely kicking off fantastic. Listen, we're loving it. We're going to take a quick break. Remember, family, you call us with your comments and questions at 844-844-1244. Again, it's 844-844-1244. You can also email us at jimmybondspodcast@gmail.com. Again, it's jimmybondspodcast@gmail.com. That's JIMMYBONDS podcast@gmail.com. You'll listen to the Jimmy Bonds Podcast on Philadelphia Radio. We'll be right back. And welcome back to Jimmy Bonds Podcast on Philadelphia Radio. Remember, family, you can call us with your comments and questions at 844-844-1244. Again, it's 844-844-1244. You can also email us at jimmybondspodcast@gmail.com. Again, it's jimmybondspodcast@gmail.com. That's JIMMYBONDS podcast@gmail.com. And family, we are also continuing our Artist Spotlight series as well as our Supporting Small Business series with no other than the lovely Miss Jenn Michelle. She is killing it, telling us about her experience and starting her business and her company, Glam Life Beauty. My apologies. And she is really just giving us the ins and outs of the beauty industry and how it goes and her experience with it. But on this second segment, I wanted to play a little game with you, Jenn. And you tell me, you just tell me how it goes. So I want you to give me the first word that comes to your mind when I name
Oh,
these
God.
brands, okay? I'm gonna name some brands to you. I'm sure that you're familiar with them, and you tell me the first thing that comes to your mind when I say them, okay?
Okay.
All right. Bare Minerals,
Natural.
Maybelline,
Okay. Sorry.
Revlon,
The first thing I think of is lipstick. I don't know.
Mac.
Sorry.
What about Mac?
Mac. I think of makeup artists.
And have you ever heard of NARS? NARS?
Yeah, I love NARS. I don't know. I'll say I love it.
And CoverGirl.
Eh.
What about the new one that's kicking tail all over the place, kicking ass, Fenty?
The CoverGirl, the mascara.
Oh yeah, well no, what cover? Well, just CoverGirl in general. I was asking.
Oh, I don't really use CoverGirl. I like Maybelline more.
You
I
like
like Maybelline, a
Maybelline?
bunch of their stuff better. Yeah,
What do you think of Rihanna's brand Fenty?
it's fire.
Fire, fire.
Hmm.
And what do you think of Glam Life Beauty?
It's the best.
Dope. Ty, go ahead, man. I know you got a question. Jump on in there, boy.
Since we're on there, can you list some of the products that you have and how do they work?
Yeah, so a lot of my makeup is for makeup artists and then makeup lovers because I am a professional. I listen to a lot of people that are sitting in my chair, but then I also can understand what other artists need. So I have bronzer palettes that are good for every skin tone and for every season because it's big. You get a lot of products, you get more for your money. I have a blush palette again for every skin tone for artists that they can put in their kit or for the average person that just loves makeup and they can use it all year round, no matter, what they look like. I have lip glosses. I have over 25 different lip glosses. I have detangle brushes. I have silk mink lashes that are reusable up to about 13 to 15 times. I have lash holders where you can kind of preserve your lashes when you have, since mine are silk mink, they're higher quality. So you don't have to throw them out after the first time. So why not have a holder? I have beauty blenders. I have eyeshadow palettes. And then I have accessories. I'm all into like good vibes, good energy, good juju. So I have a lot of like evil eye, like bracelets, earrings. I love accessories. It's all kind of like a part of me, all the things that I have. My detangle brush is a bestseller because it's for all different hair types, especially hair extensions. Yeah. So those are some of my products.
That's dope.
Okay. Now, are there any role models in your life as far as your business?
Well, I'm going to be honest. I'm kind of like one of the first entrepreneurs in my family. Everybody in my family either works for the Board of Ed or, my dad, he worked in printing and then he was a doorman, so everyone I know always had jobs. When I had my daughter, I tried to go to school to be a teacher like my mom, but it wasn't for me. I just know I don't have it in me to work with other people's children. I love kids, but I just can't do it. It's a trait that you must have instilled in you. I have my own, but I did see work ethic. I guess at an early age, like my father bust his butt, like to get us everything we had. My mom was a teen mom. So when I was in high school, she was in college. When I was having my first daughter, she was getting her 30 and above, So I think growing up, I had role models that instilled certain qualities that I have. I've seen hard work, I've seen what loyalty was. I see what empathy was, what grace is from my grandmother. My grandmother always makes me look at everything full circle, very big with that, where a lot of people, they have to learn that. And I feel like I've always been very intuitive and always caring in that aspect and being humble and staying humble and having passion for something because it does change everything, So I feel like my mom, I have my two aunts who like my sisters, and my grandmother and my great grandmother when she was alive. I feel like they were my role models because they're all different versions of pieces that I have in me. Like my great grandmother till the day she passed, was one of the toughest women I ever met. No hair on her tongue, tough as nails, and then it's just all these women played pivotal parts. I look up to not look up to, but I have a mentor who I absolutely adore and paid such a big part, I feel, in who I am. Her name is Kelly Lynn Adams. She's someone I met her at a women's networking event. We started to do events together. We became friends, but I don't think she realized how much of an impact, being around somebody at her caliber really had on me. And it's all about who you surround yourself with. So I would say those are like some of my top role models, but along the way, I've met people that played pivotal parts in my journey but I would say the beginning stages of the life are so important. So I would say my family.
That's dope. That's dope. I was gonna ask about the evil eye. I mean, I saw that all over your Instagram. I was like, yo, she is definitely into. A lot of people don't know what it is. A lot of people don't understand what the evil eye, what it does, what it's supposed to do. I guess what the theory behind it is, and it's supposed to keep the negative energy away from you, the negative people away from you. It's supposed to keep you, like you said, in good spirits, positive thinking. I used to carry one in my bag, my backpack everywhere I took everywhere with me. I got it from a person I call my sister. She's actually Iranian, and she got me this thing, and I just was like, "What? I didn't know that." So when I saw it, I was like, "Yeah, she's definitely into the evil eye. She knows about it." So yeah, I was digging it. That's a great thing. So we were in the break. We was talking about some things that I wanted to make sure that we recorded because everybody has a story. Everyone has somewhere that they've come from. And you just listed a lot of your influences, a lot of the people that played pivotal parts in your life. But there were some times in your life that, you kind of had to start over and you kind of had to, I guess, reevaluate certain things. Well, now, I mean, what we were talking about, of course, the family, I know what I'm talking about. But when you had your daughter and you had the situation with your husband now,
yes.
What was that like? First of all, what was the situation and what was that like?
So my daughter, my oldest daughter is 17 now. So when she was younger, my husband had, young and, we're young, we were like 21 and, he had to go away for about 3.5 years. So I went from, living on my own with him, with our daughter, to literally day turned into night. The next day I was back at home with my parents, living on their couch. I had to leave college because he wasn't coming home. So, and I never really been through stuff like this before. These are things that like I watched on TV. You know what I mean? Like literally a Lifetime. I was in a Lifetime movie. I was the star of a Lifetime movie. And, I was raised where family's everything. So even though we were young, I was there for him throughout the entire time. He was a good dad when he was out and things happen, so I was there throughout the whole thing. But during that time, it was hard for me. I was a kid myself, and that's not how I envisioned raising my first baby.
For sure.
So I went from day to night, having everything kind of, and then I had to sleep on my parents' couch for the next 3.5 years. So I went through my hard times were my 20s when people going out partying or going on vacation and living their best lives. I was working 3 jobs. I was back in school. I wound up going back, getting my associates, then going to beauty school. So, and then I worked, I bartended. I never had my license, but I made sure I could work somewhere. One thing is I know how to work. Like I'll always make money, So, and then I worked in advertising for a really big firm in New York. So it's funny how all these things came back full circle to what I do today. Yeah. But I always said during those moments where I felt like I was at my lowest, I always said if I ever got, to a certain point, I would always give back. I always would, because you never one thing is you don't forget that struggle. And if you do, you don't deserve your success. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because your struggle is what made you. And to this day, like, I don't forget how I used to feel waiting for everyone to go to sleep at night so I can go to bed. You know what I mean? Like, it sounds so crazy, but I don't regret that. Makes me go harder. That's why, like, so many people will come up to me, like, oh my God, you're so easy to talk to. I'm like, but why wouldn't I be? I'm living in my blessing right now. I'm getting to do what I love. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to keep my word because that's how I was raised, and I'm going to give back. So I actually also have a women's group now that I support other entrepreneurs in business as well.
Well, yeah, we were going to talk about that.
Oh, sorry.
No, you good. No. I mean, we might as well segue right into it because, you talked about giving back and how important that is giving back. Now, I'm just going to say something before we get into that. Like, okay, so, people in their 20s, they think that that's the life. You know what I mean? I'm going out every night. You don't start living your life till you get into your 30s and your 40s. Like, you don't start really seeing life for what it is until you get older. Now, listen, I'm not gonna say how old I am. I ain't gonna say how old Ty is, but I mean,
I'm not gonna say how old I am either.
Right? But I can just tell you that you get to a certain age, you start realizing what's more important, what's more valuable, those moments that you have in your struggles. You thank God for them as you get older because you realize that you were supposed to have them, first of all. And second of all, you appreciate these moments even more now that you have success, or you have the successor that I know you're not where you want to be all the way, but you have your success and you have the things you've experienced and you're thankful for that. So, I mean, I'm looking at that and I'm seeing someone who has traveled a certain particular road, but never forgot where she came from and values where she came from. You know what I mean? And that goes a long way. And I think that's what people probably are like, no, I couldn't believe like that you talked to me. I think that's what people don't understand. Everyone has a story, but people don't wear their stories on their shoulder. You know what I mean? They don't, you can't see it unless you start talking to them, So like, I really appreciate you even sharing that with us, just your experience with that. I mean, that's major. That's major. But move. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, sorry. Well, it's funny because I never really shared my story until like 2 years because I was embarrassed of it, because you don't want to say certain things because you don't want other people to be in their feelings. But honestly, I don't care because this made me who I am, like me and my husband, we've been together since we're children. Literally, we grew up together, and I always tell him, like, for him, he had to go through that because now he's even better man that he is now, you know what I mean? So like, we all had to go through certain things that for whatever reason at that time, it was supposed to happen, and your past don't make you. That's just a part of your story.
Exactly.
So you could, you know what I mean? So I always try to look at the better because I remember like when he would first come home, he's like, don't say anything. I'm like, don't say it. I'm not ashamed. Things happen, we're family. Family don't give up on family, but my dreams are going to be bigger than anything. So that had to happen because I would never go back to that ever again.
Right. But I mean, do you know how many women are, even men on it, even men, I can say the same thing. Like, when people have had to separate from their partner because of something, for a time period. And, like you're not supposed to keep that you're not supposed to just keep it to yourself because you don't know who you're going to touch with your story. You know what I mean? And like I said, there's so many other people who have gone through the same experience who want to be like, nah, I'm not gonna tell nobody that because then they'll think something else about that person. It's like no, like you can't judge anybody from their past. You got to look at them for who they are today and what they've gone through. I'll listen. I'm gonna shut up. This is about you, Jen. This ain't about nothing. All right. So no, but really focusing on, you talk about giving back, and I definitely said you were an advocate earlier. Talk to us about your Women's Warriors collab, I should say. That's how it's pronounced. Yes. Talk to us about that.
So the Women Warriors collab is just something, it's so funny. I always say I manifested it. So I'll just briefly tell you how I got into it. So last October, I was actually diagnosed with a rare form of blood cancer. So I'm a person that I'm always on the go, right? Obviously, I think you could just tell by my energy, right? So when I got diagnosed, I had a weekend of just, I planned my funeral. I told my best friend what picture, like literally, like, because when you hear this word, that you think it's a death sentence. Yeah. And, I started having anxiety attacks. Like I didn't know what to do. I'm like, oh my God, cancer runs in my family. So somebody said, Jenn, you should try yoga. And I'm like, I'm not yoga. I'm not gonna be able to do that. I'm gonna get kicked out of yoga. It's just, So I wind up going. And when you're laying down in the beginning, at the end, you're still, like, you're literally just there. And I just cried. And for some reason, the next day I showed up again. And I kept on, and I'm like, this was helping me, something that's complete opposite of who I am, something I never thought I think I can do. That's how it came into like manifesting and stuff. Women Warriors is always something that I wanted, but the yoga instructor played such a big part in me kind of accepting what I have, because she didn't know, but she was just such a great instructor. I would wake up to do her 7 a.m. class like every day, just because I felt peace. It was crazy, you know, until you're hit with those words, you really don't understand. And I don't know how to explain it, because unless it's you know, you don't, it's such a weird feeling hearing that you have cancer. So with that, I just felt like, you know what, time is not, what am I waiting for? What am I keep on procrastinating for? I want to have a women's group. I don't know what to call it. I'm like, we're warriors. Like, you know, if you think about a woman, we wear so many different hats. You know, we're moms, we're sisters, we're the caretakers, we're nurses, we do so much. And I know you guys are both guys, but at the end of the day, you know, a man, having the right woman beside you plays such a big part of the man that you are. I don't care what any man says, we could argue, okay? Because it says a lot. Like, the woman that's literally right beside you has a lot to do with who you are. No matter what, we're influencers in the person's life. We're either lifting you up or we're bringing you down, you know? So
you said it. We didn't.
You know?
Like, it's the truth. It's the truth. Yeah, bravo. Bravo.
You're so funny. Maybe we got to talk off of this. So I, you know, I really wanted to put a group together. I'm like, let's put together the Women Warriors Collab. I had no idea what I was doing. I just, you know, I've been in other women's groups, but I really wanted to, it was time where I'm noticing, you know, my clients are basically women in business, women in media, you know, heavy hitter powerhouse women. So instead of just connecting, why don't I put a big space for everybody to connect? But since we have a certain type of pull, why not give back? Because now we already have that. Some women are beginning, some women are powerhouses, some people are in the middle stages. It doesn't matter. Entrepreneur is an entrepreneur. We all can either relate on some type of level, no matter what. So I put together Women Warriors Collab. We started with having, like, I did every single week in spring a different Zoom call with different people that I knew from all over, all different types. We had authors, we had advocates for domestic violence, just you name it. I had life coaches, just all, because I wanted them to see what I could bring to a group. So this was in spring. So in summer, one of my good friends who's also an author in the group, her name is Maureen Spataro. She's an advocate for women who are fleeing like domestic violence, and she has nonprofit, just really great women. She goes, Jen, you need to put together an event. I'm like, an event? I'm like, I got to do it now then, because if I do it now, it has to be big, because that's just how I am. So long story short, in October, I put together an event. It was called Step Into Your Power. I don't know why. I'm very big with, like, if it comes to me, that's what I'm listening to my intuition. So Step Into Your Power. We had 18 vendors. We had keynote speakers. I had a panelist. We sold out. We donated money to breast cancer as well. But women got together. So many women that came was like, oh my God, I felt like I needed to be there. So if I could have, having that event change anyone's life to maybe do more, or to change their outlook, or I don't know, you had women crying in the crowd when certain people were talking, or, you know, it's just, that's what it's about. It's knowing that you have a space in the Women Warriors where you can come and you can ask for help. You can share your story. You know, you can come on, leave an inspirational quote, whatever you feel like resonates within you, but know that you have opportunity within this group to grow, and know you can be vulnerable, and there is no judgment in this group. I feel like when you belong to some groups, sometimes that happens where people start to get mean. I don't want any of that. If it's there, they get kicked out. And the reason why I say that is because as women, I feel like confidence I like to build, and I like for people to see, you know, don't forget why you started on your journey. You know, never forget your why, because your why is so important, especially when you're in your down moments. Because when you're in those down moments, you start to feel sorry, and then you forget why you started. You know, so I like for everyone to realize, like, we've all been through it. Now you have a support system. I have an in-house photographer who does like really great content photography for the women in the group for discounted rates. I'm actually starting to expand now nationally. We just solidified a chapter in Texas, and we're working on Louisiana. So I know I feel like I should have grew up in the South, but whatever. I love it in the South. It's like a completely different vibe.
It is completely different. Completely
Yeah.
different.
So, we're growing, and for right now, I got a partnership with the hospital in Newark in New Jersey,
Yeah.
for terminally ill children. So like we've been asking for donations. We started last week. We almost have $1,000 in donations that go to terminally ill children. So it doesn't matter what the cause is, wherever something gets brought to light where they need it or somebody needs help, I like to come together as a collective because I want to show the women, like, look what we can do together. We can move mountains, and it's all about giving back. I don't know. I just feel like, when I leave this earth, I want people to know that, I had a good heart. I want people to know that I try to do good with hair and makeup. You know what I mean? Like hair and makeup got me in the door. That's what got me in there. But my voice is much louder, So I just want to make a statement and show my daughters, one, to be grateful for the life that they have, to see that I work hard, and to know that they can be their own bosses, So it all goes for full circle.
Yeah, for sure. Dang, Ty.
Yeah.
Yo, Ty, like that. Yo,
about 3 of my questions right there.
Listen, she didn't took all.
I'm
the
sorry.
No, you did. No, listen, she. That is super.
Future plans for the Women Warriors collab, though? You have future plans moving forward?
Yes, I actually would love to do a tour. I'm actually working with my PR girl right now. I would like to do a spring summer tour.
Who's your PR girl? Who's your PR girl?
State to state. Yeah, so we got to go to Philly.
Who does your PR?
Ali Rodriguez.
Yeah, Ali. Shout out to Ali Rodriguez.
Yes.
I thought she was a PR anyway, but I saw that you had her on your as a keynote speaker as well at one of your events. I think I saw that.
She wasn't one of the speakers. She was involved, and she was one of the sponsors. Sponsored it.
She sponsored it. Yeah. Shout out to Ali.
Yeah.
She's
dope.
She's our PR as well. So I'm just going to.
Oh, she's not in now. That's so funny.
Yeah, she does some PR for us as well. So shout out to Ali. It's all love. I mean, one thing I'm always wondering is you always hear such a stigma with women as women coming together. They be catty. They're so. Everyone's jealous of each other. Like, I mean, I don't pick up that vibe. That's what you're experiencing within your Women's Warriors collab. I don't feel like that's something that you really have to deal with. Like, it just seems, from what I've seen, it just seems like it's all love and inspiration and empowering.
Yeah. Listen, if there's ever anything coming this way that's like that, I don't entertain that. If it doesn't add to my growth, my peace, or my pockets, I really don't have anything to do with it. You know what I mean? Because for what? Life is too short to say. There's different levels.
There definitely are. Ty, the crazy thing about this, Ty, is that I meet a lot of women that do a lot of different things to bring women together. Yes. But I don't meet any men that do that. I don't meet men that be like, hey, we're gonna come together, we're gonna empower some men. And I mean, I'm sure there's organizations out there, I'm sure, very sure of that, But Todd, like, what is that like? What is it with us? Is there something wrong with us, bro? Is there something wrong with us? Do we just don't care about each other?
I think we care, but women care more.
Yeah, that might be what it is. That just might be what it is. I think they're more like let's bond together and make something happen. So, Jen, what's going? Your dog barking? It don't matter. I want to listen. That's family. We over here. We zooming. It don't matter. I don't have to.
Okay, because I'm like,
no, it's all good. It's all good. Listen, if people think that everything has to be so perfect, like, no, like, it happens. I've had podcasts and my son is running this joint and give me hugs and yelling at me. So it's listen. it ain't nothing about it.
Like,
but listen,
okay.
It definitely is okay. But I'm gonna take a quick break. We're gonna take a quick break. We're gonna come right back. I'm loving this, Jen. I'm really digging everything you're doing.
Yes.
Women's Warriors collab. Make sure that you go check her out. Check out Women's Warriors collab on Instagram as well. You can find it on Jen's Instagram. Jen, I'm gonna let you do all the plugs. I'm not even gonna try to do the plugs. I'm gonna let you do all the plugs for it because it's a very, very good organization that you have. It's a beautiful idea. I'm super, super excited to see what you guys do in the future, and I'm definitely excited about what you've done in the past. So, Yeah, we're definitely gonna shout that out. So yeah, listen, fam, we're gonna take a quick break. Remember, you can call us with your comments and questions at 844-844-1244. Again, it's 844-844-1244. You can also email us at jimmybondspodcast@gmail.com. Again, it's jimmybondspodcast@gmail.com. It's JIMMYBONDS podcast@gmail.com. You listen to the Jimmy Bonds podcast on Philadelphia Radio. We'll be right back. Peace. I said peace. Like, what? Peace? And welcome back to Jimmy Bonds podcast on Philadelphia Radio. Remember, family, you can call us with your comments or questions at 844-844-1244. Again, that's 844-844-1244. You can also email us at jimmybondspodcast@gmail.com. Again, it's jimmybondspodcast@gmail.com. That's JIMMYBONDS podcast@gmail.com. And again, family, we are continuing our Artist Spotlight series, as well as combining it with our Supporting Small Business series, as well as supporting advocates and supporting people with passions. This is really a dope interview. We're interviewing Miss Jenn Michelle from Glam Life Beauty, line, accessories, collections, everything that you ever think about is all about Glam Life. So family, you know, she's definitely dropped a whole bunch of knowledge on us about the industry, about herself. She told us so much about, you know, what her aspirations are, why she does what she does. She's given us some insight on some things people might not know about her. But I kind of wanted to just, you know, kick this third segment off asking her, where do you see Glam Life Beauty in the next 5 years?
I definitely see it in stores. You know, it's funny. One of my good friends actually just posted, and I was just on a segment on the show that I actually work on, being my own segment, which was like a big for me. It was a win for sure.
Yeah.
And she posted, you know, Jenn always wants to make sure her voice is heard. And I started laughing. I'm like, no, I really am like that. So my goal is to really have people know what Glam Life is. You know, my goal is to be in stores. It's time. My products are so good, and I love them. And that took time, you know, for that to grow. So I just see it being an empire. I just want something I can, you know, help, you know, generational wealth in my family.
Yeah, no doubt. Do you think that, are you thinking about passing it on to your kids or to your daughters, or you're more like how whatever they fall into is what they fall into? But is, you know,
I would love for them to, you know, want to take, you know, pass down the legacy, but if it's not for them, it's not for them. As long as it could provide for them and like my grandkids one day, that's all that I can. Kind of like Kris Jenner status type of thing. You know, pass it down, set up the kids for the future. That's all that I want them just to have it better than I did.
Yeah, no doubt. Todd, go ahead, man. I know you got a question, bro.
Well, your name alone sounds like a perfume or a clothing line, Jenn Michelle.
It does. It does. It sounds like a definite brand. Yeah.
Like she can brand that too.
Yeah.
You know?
Right. Maybe a perfume. That sounds good.
Yeah.
But Miss Jenn, what advice do you have for up and coming makeup artists to come into the industry? What advice do you have for them?
I want to tell them, don't get discouraged. You know, there may be doors that you really wish will open, but they won't. And that's okay, because they weren't meant to open for you, because something better is coming. I would always tell them to keep on perfecting their craft. You're never too good to take a class. I am constantly taking classes. I'm constantly on seminars. Be the hardest worker in the room. Never think that you're too good for anything. Your worth ethic is what's going to set you apart. You know, always come correct. You know, you are your business card. So when you are going to promote that you're in beauty, come as if you are beauty, you know, because a lot of the time, you know, when I used to own the salon, girls would come in for makeup jobs with no makeup on. And I'm like, I need a makeup artist that's going to be wearing makeup. You know, I want people that are going to put their best foot forward. You know, you want to always have drive. Like I said, be the hardest worker, never stop, you know, work smarter, not harder. You know, we live in a world where content is everything. So be smart with your schedule. You know, you could do it all. And, you know, start before you're ready. That's the one thing I always say, because you're never going to be ready, you know? But yeah, that's what I would give.
I love that. Start before you're ready. Now that's a tie. Listen, boy, if that ain't us, boy, let me tell you, start before you're ready. What? Wait a minute. Hold on. Wait, I ain't got everything together. No, keep going. Just start it, right? That's dope, Jen. That's real dope. Well, besides makeup and hair and your makeup line and your accessories, what else is there to Jen Michelle that people don't know? What else do you love to do? What are your other hobbies? What are your other loves and passions?
I love basketball.
Oh,
Basketball was my first love. If I thought I was going to be in the WNBA when I was younger, I played for Christ the King. I played AAU. I thought I was going to go on and play college, but I just decided because I didn't get along with my coach because he made me not love the sport. But I was a teenager. Now I wish I stuck it out, but I love ball. My middle daughter plays ball. I was a coach for a few years, then COVID. So I didn't know how to really get in, but next year I'm coming back because I can't take it.
yeah.
I'm like, no, I have like these little girls doing college plays, but I love basketball. I am a big basketball lover. I grew up like John Starks, Patrick Ewing,
Oh yeah, you from Brooklyn. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, love ball. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm girly, but I'm also a tomboy. I'm kind of like I am the meme of a girl with a stiletto and a Jordan. Like that is me.
No doubt. That's dope, man. I
play glam life baller.
A glam
Yes.
life baller. That
Life
Ty,
baller.
there you go, Ty. Yeah, bro.
There you go. You're just giving me ideas.
Yeah, Ty. Listen, that's dope, bro. I played point guard in high school.
I was shooting.
You're shooting guard. So basketball, yes, definitely basketball. Basketball is one of my passions. I love it. I ain't played in a while, but yeah, like I mean, I watch all day. So what do you think of the Nets? Are you a Net fan or are you a Knicks fan?
Honestly, I really don't watch basketball that much now. I really don't even watch TV anymore.
Too busy.
I watch my daughter's games. So right now I'm a Hazlitt
She's a Hazlitt fan. That's all that matters.
Yeah. But I mean, I love ball. Like literally, if I wasn't in beauty, I would be in sports.
That's dope.
Yeah.
That's dope. Ty, go ahead, man. I know you got another question, bro.
Now, has the pandemic changed the way that you operate and work your business?
Absolutely. During the pandemic, a lot of people, I don't want to say I wasn't stressed out because I couldn't work, but it gave me time that I would never have. So instead of looking at, oh my God, I'm stuck in the house. How am I going to utilize this time that I'll never have ever again this much time in my life? So I rebranded my entire brand and the structure of how I was going to kind of attack once I was able to go back out. And it was the best thing that ever happened to me. Thank God. I really feel the time the pandemic really helped entrepreneurs kind of see where they were. I mean, your brick and mortar companies, I feel so horrible because, so many people have lost their businesses, but I feel like entrepreneurs that maybe work for themselves kind of seen if they were in it for the long run, because if that did not test you, I don't know what did.
Yeah, that's real. I mean, a lot of people during the pandemic were like, they were stressing about the fact that they couldn't do anything or go anywhere. And it's like, no, this is the time you sit down and you get your work done. Ty,
it happens.
Ty, did we, is that not what we did? But weren't we like, look, this is what we got to figure this out. We got time to do it now. Let's do it. And that's when you rebrand yourself. That's when you come up with new ideas when you can't do anything else. But that's what real entrepreneurs are supposed to do. You have time off, you dedicated to that. Like she says she don't watch TV, Ty. Wish you would. Don't watch TV, watch me. Like that, you know what I mean? Like that's kind of like the philosophy. Like you gotta really, I mean, TV is going, where's TV going? It's not going anywhere. Where's your business going? That's more important. That's more the question is where are you going?
Absolutely.
So
that's the whole thing. It was like, for me, it sounds so cliche, but you know how they say you have to, in order to elevate, you need to separate, right? And I literally put this, I was like, let me see if this works, So literally for that whole time. And then after, I dedicated my entire everything. I wouldn't spend $1. Anything after that pandemic, I literally just saved. unless I needed to, obviously my kids need to eat, but just the necessities of life.
Yeah.
But other than that, I didn't go out. And I love, to kind of go out, have a good time every once in a while. But how was that adding to my success? Because then when I would go out, I'm no spring chicken. I'm not 20 no more. So it takes me like a week to recover and I want to die, and I wanted to be on my A game.
Yeah.
It's true. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. It take a little while time to recover is the worst, boy.
And I'm like, how did I stay up 24 hours and go to work and then do it all over again? Like, how did I do that when I was a kid? Right? Like,
I don't know.
Who was I?
And listen, well, we go out till 2:00 in the morning, 3:00 in the morning, be partying, gotta be working 6. And and do it like no problem. Like not anymore. Not anymore. No, I need my 8 hours. I'm sorry. I need to go to sleep. I need to make sure I go to sleep.
But you know what it was? I was serious about really like turning this time into, I have this time, I'm not working, so I'm not bringing in any money, so I was like, you know what, I'm going to just separate myself completely and just like put this to work. So I did it for 6 months.
Yeah.
And it was 6 months that literally changed my life. I started to read self-development books. I would go into any type of seminar or podcast. I just started to really like find out who I was, because I feel like that's what we're always on, like a different journey of finding out who we are. But every level really does need a different person in you to come out. Because if you can't stay the same, right? Because you're supposed to grow. That's a whole part of life. That's lets you know you're doing the right thing.
Yeah. So
I wouldn't let anything distract me. Literally, whether somebody didn't understand it or not, I didn't care. I really didn't. And the thing is, I'm not selfish. There's nothing selfish about self-love.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because in order for you to be at your best, you have to take care of you first. And as a mom in my 20s, I had all my kids. I mean, my kids always come first, but I wouldn't let any distractions deter me for feeling guilty about my business or being successful in my brand. Because honestly, even if you're a hands-on father, the mom is more or less the main person with that child. You know what I mean? Even if they're the greatest father, it's just how it is. And I'm like, no, but I have a meeting today. So we're going to have to work. We have to make this work. And I just would stand my ground, not with my husband, but with my career, because when you're a freelancer, when you're an entrepreneur, people don't understand it until you're successful.
Yeah.
People don't take it serious until you're successful.
Yeah.
But I took it serious until I was like, you see all the hard work. Now you can look at it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
they would they look at you? Oh, you just got your little business. What are you doing? What, you really believe you're gonna do this? You're really gonna be a super makeup artist? Is that what you think you're gonna do? Really? Mm-hmm. That's the attitude. Until you start to show them, like, nah, kiss my ass. Yes, I am. I'm definitely doing it. You see me doing it now, like, nah, yeah, for sure. I mean, Ty, we talk about this all the time. Like, people don't believe until they see it. People are doubters, and then you become successful, and they're looking at you like, oh, remember I was there? Like, no, you were doubting.
No, you weren't.
You doubted me. You said I wasn't gonna be able to do it, and I mean, it's not about proving the naysayers wrong. It's about proving it to yourself that you were able to get to your goal, able to achieve what you set out to achieve. That's big. I mean, Jenn, like, you inspiring us. You keeping us on our toes. You really are. I know you're going to inspire our listeners. I know that is something. Somebody out there is going to hear you, hear your story. Somebody out there is thinking about starting something, whether it be a makeup line or their own salon or anything, and they just need to hear a voice like yours to say, you know what, I can do it. I can really do it. And like, I mean, that saying you said is, you gotta hurry up and start. Like, don't be ready to start. Just start it. I think that's a very important thing to have for people. Ty, go ahead, man. I mean, I want to end it out. I know I don't want to hold up Jenn no more. I know she probably got to get back to the babies and get back to doing it. Ty, I know you. Anything you want to say to her before we close out, man?
Jenn, it's been a pleasure interviewing this evening. Your story is wonderful. Everything you talked about, you're on point. But for one last thing, though, do you have any do's and don'ts for makeup artists?
Always show up at least 15 minutes early. never call out same day, be the hardest worker in the room. Don't ever let your success get to your head, and always stay humble.
No
All
doubt.
right.
No
All
doubt.
right.
Jen, I think you're gonna be busy this year.
I hope so.
particularly with the summer coming along. You know, I watch the market all the time. I know weddings are gonna be a super, because people couldn't have weddings last year, they're gonna be really on having weddings this year. So I know you're gonna be busy this summer coming and this season coming. But
Yeah.
who would you want to dedicate this podcast to?
Wow. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, honestly, sorry, I hit the screen name. I mean, anyone that's just watching and has a dream, like to the single mom that's raising, kids on their own, you can do it. For the girl that been through stuff, like in her teenage years, like you can do it. If you don't have the best upbringing, don't let your past define you. Work on your present so you could tell your story, so you can inspire others. My podcasts are for girls that just want to get it, and you weren't born with a silver spoon in your mouth, so you have to go out and put that work in, but put it in. I'm telling you guys, it's so worth it. It is so worth it. And celebrate your wins. It's just for the girls that want to do it. I was a single mom for a while, and it was probably the hardest time in my life. And I didn't even have it as hard as a lot of single moms do. I still had my family that did help me, but I didn't ask for $1, and but it's really for those girls. It's for the girls who just want, are dreamers. Don't be a dreamer, be a doer. Go get it,
That's right. Ain't nothing wrong being a dreamer, but you got to put some action behind that dream. You sure do.
That's right.
You sure do. Now, before we go, I want you to please plug everything that you have going on so people know where to find you. Please do.
Okay, so you guys can find me. My personal Instagram is Jenn Michelle, JENNMICHELLE _ My beauty collection is on Instagram as well, and it's Glam Life Beauty Collection. If you want to follow the Women Warriors, it is Women Warriors Collab on Instagram and on Facebook. And my website is www.glamlifecollection.com.
Yeah, I hear that. Make sure you go check out our website, check her out on Instagram. I started following you on Instagram myself. I did it the other day because I was doing my research, but I was digging everything that you had going on. So
thank you.
You got some real positive energy, some great ideas, and we wish you nothing but the best in the future. And for this year, we know that you're gonna do some fantastic, phenomenal things. Looking forward to seeing what you have going on. You make sure you stay in contact with us, because you just good, dope people, good folks.
Yes, man. Same here. And I wish you good luck in your new studio. It's big.
Yeah. Thank you, Jen. Thank you. We all smiles over here about that, right? Time, like, yeah. Look, that means more bills. That's what that means. That means more hard work for us. Like,
more money.
So, more money.
It's
exactly.
Okay.
It's all right now. You got to jump out there and take the chance. You got to. Well, listen, family, we want to thank Jenn Michelle for coming on tonight. Shout out to Glam Life Beauty Products, the line, the accessories. Shout out to her family for giving us the time and let us talk to her tonight. We really appreciate everything that she said tonight. Really appreciate you, Jenn, just for coming and sharing with us. I always say sharing is a hard thing, because sometimes people want to share, sometimes people don't want to share because of whatever they might be feeling. So we really appreciate you just sharing everything that you shared with us tonight. I always feel like the show is about challenging social norms and giving people platforms that they didn't have before. Jenn, I think you were actually doing the same thing within your Women's Warriors collab. And, I'm definitely going to keep an eye on that. So, from us, Philadelphia Radio, Jimmy Bonds Podcast, we want to say thank you tonight. But family, that's going to wrap the show. I want to thank you for listening to Jimmy Bonds Podcast, Philadelphia Radio. Remember, please wear your mask, wash your hands, practice social distancing. We're still in a COVID-19 pandemic. So please heed to all of it. You're protecting us, we're protecting each other. And also, remember to always tell the people that you love them, your friends, your family, your loved ones, because you never know when you might get another chance. I want to thank y'all for listening. I'm Jimmy Bonds Podcast, Philadelphia Radio. I'm Jimmy Bonds. I'm out. Peace.
Hey guys, this is Jenn Michelle. You're tuning in to Philadelphia Radio. Make sure to follow me on Jenn Michelle _Glam Life on Instagram.